Hello lovely people, how are you all doing today? I hope you are well. I am, although a bit chilly this morning. Weirdest weather ever. Yeah, it's the beginning of June now. I think it's the 3rd. Can't remember the date, but you're going to see this, if I remember my schedule correctly. I think you're going to see this on the 8th. Anyway, it's right at the beginning of June. It's this morning, it's only 15 degrees, which is 60 Fahrenheit. That's way low for this time of year. But never mind June, May. So May, the temperature has been below average during the daytime, below average at night. And that has impacted, well, you'll see when we go, the things in the cold frame. They're just not growing. Nothing's happening. Nothing's happening. It's been very, very dry. That first week of May, when we think back to, I've just come back to the garden, oh my goodness, there's so much to do. Am I going to be able to do it? Because we've been forecast non-stop rain. The rain just didn't happen. I think it was like the first 5 days of May, we had rain every day at some point. Since then, nothing. So no rain to wet the ground, and then we've had a week of really strong northerly winds. It might be an issue today, we've still got them. That's really drying for the ground. So yeah, it hasn't been an ideal start to my new gardening year. Dry, windy, no water, but I hope you will see, or I hope you will agree that, you know, it's a vast improvement on where it was at. In truth, it's about 4.5 weeks since that last tour I showed you. 4.5 weeks. The reason I'm kind of mentioning this is because I want to give hope to other folk who are maybe feeling sort of a bit behind, a bit overwhelmed, thinking, oh, I can't do it. So what I'm going to show you today, I've been coming, I worked out my average visiting to the garden has been 3.5 times a week. In other words, one week I've come 3 days, another week I've come 4 days. So 3.5 days a week over these 4 weeks is 14 visits. Each visit has been about 4 to 5 hours long. However, there's been a lot of sitting down. So maybe 3 hours of actual work. However, again, I think if you were fully able-bodied, you could probably get it done in 2 to 2.5 hours, because you'll just be moving more quickly than me. You know, let's say 2.5 hours. What did I say? 14. So it's 25. So about 35 hours of work if you go at it. So in other words, over 4 weeks, let's say it's 10 hours a week. And don't forget that also has been including watering. So in a year when if we were getting rain, that would have been reduced. So yeah, I'm mentioning all that because, you know, especially if you haven't got a garden yet, if you're still on a waiting list, what realistically is the time commitment of having a garden? So what I've achieved in a month, like I said, if you're fully able-bodied, I reckon you could achieve it in 40 hours a week. In other words, you could come and do a big session on a Saturday, sort of 6-7 hours, and then during the week, maybe a couple of visits after work for an hour, hour and a half. Should be able to do it. Anyway, enough of that. We're going to go and look at the garden. But just before I do, something I was going to say at the end of the video, but I'm going to say it now, just in case folk don't watch to the end, because I know some people don't watch to the end of the video. That's absolutely fine. You do what you want. It's like, I'm not holding a gun to your head. Yeah, so we're going to go and have a look around the garden now. You'll see this video, I think, like I said, I think it will be the 8th of June. But then after this is going to be the last video for a little while. Not the last video ever. I'm not shutting the channel. I'm just taking some, what do people call it in work? Personal days. I'm taking some personal days. So for a couple of weeks or so, there's not going to be any videos, no Facebook, no Instagram, nothing. Stumm. So yeah, after this video goes out, I'll be around. I'll check in for 24 hours or so. So if there are comments, you know, I'll reply, respond, or whatever. Just to say, in that period, the shop is going to stay open. Please have a look. So many gorgeous books at the moment and other stuff. The details for the shop are always in the read more bit underneath the video. So the shop will be open. I'll be checking in on that. But otherwise, no social media for a couple of weeks. Nothing untoward. I'm not going on holiday. Crikey, I wish. I'm not going into hospital. You know, my focus needs to be elsewhere at the moment. So it will be. So I won't be here. Right, shut up, Vivi. Get on with the tour. Come on, let's go and have a look. See where the garden is at the beginning of June. Oh goodness, talking of wind, it's picking up again. We'll do the best we can. So, here we are in the top of the garden, bed number 1. As always, you can see the Limnanthes douglasii are really going over now. So I plan in the coming days to pull out hands full of these. I don't want it to seed the entire bed. Oh, hang on a minute. Good morning, Miss Rosie. Am I ignoring you? Oh, sweet girl. Let me talk to the lovely people first. Then we'll have cuddles. Oh, yes. Maybe we'll just all have a cuddle. Okay, everybody, pretend this is you and I'm giving you all a cuddle. Okay, patience, Rosie. Yes, so I'll be pulling handfuls out to plant it up, but it can stay for now. Now, for the whole garden, you might think, Vivi, you've not done anything. What on earth have you been up to? There's nothing in the garden. But actually this whole month, that's an overview for you, has been about clearing and prep. Oh my goodness. So, originally I wanted all 4 beds here to be for flowers. So these 2, where you can see the bits of cardboard, they were actually dog and tilthed. I don't know if you can make out. I mean, it's still lumpy in the middle, but they were tilthed for flowers. But I sat down with all my flower seeds and realised that really none of them were suitable for sowing as late in the year as the middle of May, which is when the beds were ready. So then I thought, never mind, I will put courgettes in these beds. However, it's not, you'll see when we get to the cold frame, I don't know if I'm going to have any courgettes. So instead, these are going to be, thank you for demonstrating, don't show us your bum. These are going to be for tomatoes. And normally I'd cram 2 rows of tomatoes into each bed. But because I'm so lacking in plants, I'm just going to do 1 row in each bed. So I'll have a row here, then in that bed over there, which will get the same treatment as in a bit of cardboard, you know, acting as a sort of mulch, weed suppressant, what have you. But enough space for planting and enough space for rain, if we do get rain, to hit the ground and soak in. Yeah, and it'll be interesting. They'll have more space. Will they be happier for more space? I mean, I've never really had problems with my tomatoes over the years, apart from blight years. But yeah, so I've been gradually bringing my tomatoes from home. That's all at the cold frame end. I will show you and explain more. Okay, so the 2 flower beds I have got going. There was a few videos back, and I mentioned I'd spent, I think it was £8.50 on seeds. I couldn't for the life of me remember what seeds I'd bought apart from a packet of courgette. The other couple of packets I bought were calendula. So that's 4 rows of my own saved seed, and this is 3.5 rows from 3 packets. Oh my goodness. So let's get a bit closer for contrast. These were sown 1 day after these. Now can you see, you can probably see lots and lots of little seedlings showing there. We're about to get Rosie's bum again. And then in this bed, oh my goodness, hardly any. There's a few here. Now, firstly, the packets contained so few seeds. Ridiculous. Seriously, folk, save your own seed. You'll save a fortune. Rosie, don't chew my fence. You'll save a fortune. So these weren't cheap. I think they were like around the £2 mark. I emptied them into my hand to, get... There was a load of husk in there, hardly any seed, and also this whole row, actually these 2 rows, I mean almost no germination. This row a little better. Sorry, this row, not sure. Let's see if they catch up. But in comparison to my own saved seed, woohoo, they're going great guns. Obviously I don't think you've seen this since the video. Rosie, she really, really wants a coddle, doesn't she? So you can see I've done my little wattle fences, and then I changed out those sort of plastic yoghurt drinks that you take after having antibiotics. I swapped them out for some terracotta pots because it's just a bit more aesthetically pleasing to me. But you know what? Use whatever you've got. I don't care. I don't care what you use. But for me, I wanted those. Rosie's going a bit... You're going a bit batty this morning, Rosie. You don't know whether to wash or cuddle the stick. Hello, everybody. I just think it looks like the Bill and Ben revival band. Bill and Ben are back on tour. That's a joke for people of my age and British, perhaps. It was a children's programme in the late 70s, in the 70s, I think. Watch with Mother. Right, we'll leave Rosie being a bit daft, and let's come to bed number 2, where there's not, it looks, one of the big things, of course, is weeding. So this bed is really quite thoroughly weeded. This bed, the worst are out of the paths and beds, but we're getting to that stage where I need to do it again. Likewise, the paths have been trimmed. It took 3 trimmings to get them sort of tidy again. I have trimmed my edges, but they're looking a bit raggedy again. They're starting to grow because that was 2 weeks or so ago. Garlic, that will be coming out soon. Actually, I'll talk about these beds in a sec. The broad beans, loads and loads of beans in there. The absolutely covered in black fly. To be honest, this year I don't care, because the whole lot, in the next couple of days, the whole lot are coming out, and I'll just chop the green yucky black fly stuff, chop it and put it in the compost. The garlic I have very low hopes for, because Rosie, no, don't. I thought she was going to dig. She's having a dust bath. Everyone else that's had their garlic out so far on my site, the garlic has been tiny. I think it's a tiny garlic year, but sometimes, they're tiny, but they're really strong in flavour. So all the straw that was on these beds has been taken off and brought over here. And all I've done in the middle of these beds is dug them a bit, because they were pretty compacted, and mounded them up with straw. These are going to be for squash. So the squash are in the cold frame, not doing much, but once they're big enough, I can cut. I mean, look, you can't put seed into this, can you? These great, boulders, boulders. But what I can do is make a hole and get the squash planted, and the same. That's going to be the same for these 2 beds too. Once the beans are out, once the garlic are out, just down the middles, I'll be putting squash if I have any squash to plant, courgettes if I have any courgettes to plant. The bed there, that final bed, that is going to get the same treatment as these beds, so it's going to have a bit of a dig. There's still some of the crop and drop matter on there. Oh no, that's where the straw bale was, wasn't it? The remnants of the straw. But it will need a bit of a forking to get tomatoes in. But that will be for tomatoes too. More cardboard, what have you. Now then. Oh, climbing beans, hurrah! I've got 2 sets of climbing beans. Not so good, better. So the front row is Madeira Maroon. On the back it's bog standard Scarlet Emperor runners. I have lost a couple, but you know what, not too many. Really, compared with other years, not too many. So they're getting away perfectly happily now. I just have to really keep on top of watering because beans hate being dry. They really hate it. However, this is 3 more beds that haven't been touched yet. Need to get back on with weeding. They're coming back. They always do. So this bed, and this bed, they will also be for squash. And again, because I haven't got any more straw, like with the tomato type beds, I will edge them with cardboard. Actually put quite a lot of cardboard down, both in terms of mulch and weed suppressant. I haven't sort of broken my back to get these done because really the squash are nowhere near going in yet. If they're going to go in at all. So yeah, not stressing about getting those done in their own time. Now, at the front here, major pain in the backside. This is Coco de Pampol. I planted, getting on for, I think it was about 70 something in here. And you can see, I mean, I lost about 3/4 of them to slugs. So the whole bed has been reseeded. If we just warmed up a bit, they would start to get going. Warmth, but obviously I need to keep, again, their beans, keep them good and moist. I think that's been one of the big issues, certainly for the carrots, which we'll come to in a second. These beds are now done, these 2. This is beetroot, 2 rows beetroot, 2 rows of lettuce. This is 2 rows of beetroot and, I think 2 more rows of lettuce. Again, sort of using up seed. We are going to get to the cold frame seed station. So it's going to be sort of successional. This bed, it needs some prep as well because in here it's going to be chard and fennel. I don't know that I'll be doing any direct sowing. I think I'll just be relying on what's in the cold frame. But this is have landed from my crop and drop last year. This had climbing beans in it. And they've self-seeded. You know what? If they want to grow, I'm going to let them. I'm going to stick a pole in there for them. Yay! Better luck with the self-seeders than, oh my goodness, my own seeding. Now, gosh, it's a sorry sight, this lot, isn't it? If you remember, this is Gigantis on the front, and I had less Gigantis than any other saved beans, so there were 2 per pole. And I think 1 pole there and this pole here are the only ones where 2 have come up. I think I've had some poor germination. I have lost a couple to slugs. I've just noticed that's really tardy. There's one trying to come up. Again, I think it's just, you know what, they're all saying, it's not really very warm, is it? Don't think we'll bother. I don't blame you, little ones. You know, it's cloudy. Generally what's been happening is the mornings are cloudy and a bit breezy and a bit chilly, and then by the afternoon the sun comes out and you can take a couple of layers off. But I mean, really, 3 or 4 hours of warmth in the afternoon, it's not going to do it. Round this side I've got my Churchill Black. Now these had, I think, 3 per pole, because look, we can see this is 3, 1, 2, 3. But look, they're so tardy and tiny. Oh, is that one trying to come up? It looks like it's been nibbled though, for goodness sakes. But then further along, so the Churchill start where the pebble label is, and then this whole row, just that is pathetic. Oh, Rosie's going to come and nudge the camera. This is Helder. This is Rosie. This is Helder. I mean, they're just not doing anything. I wonder, I might just, you know what I might do? I might just grab, so you see back over there, that's Madeira and runners. I might just grab, because I've still got quite a lot of seed, some of those and quickly whack them in here. The thing is, for the last few years, we've had really warm autumns, so sort of September, October, even into November. And although obviously the daylight hours decrease, I'm thinking that we can kind of, if we're gonna have a tardy start to the season now, tardy non-start, then maybe we can sow again, because we're pushing our season later into the year. I think that's going to be worth a go. I think I will reseed here. And talking of reseeding, reseeding, not receding. This, if you remember, I sowed with carrots. Nothing. 4 weeks, nothing. So I have reseeded, and I think the big issue is, you know, you come down to water, great, but within about 5 or 6 hours, the ground is really dry again. And the thing with so many seeds is they need to be moist all the time. So yeah, they didn't do anything, so I've reseeded with spinach. So yeah, beetroot and lettuce at the other end of this bed, spinach at the back end, because spinach won't mind a bit of shade. My thinking was, we're going to have shade from the climbing beans. Yeah, right. Maybe not. Anyway, if the climbing beans do get going, they'll cast some shade, but the spinach won't mind. Oh, should we have a look at this sad little cold frame? Oh my goody goodness. It's a bit of a... it's a bit rubbish. This tray... well, you can see this is 3 trays. These are all... Sorry, start again. I've got 3 trays, similar family. You can see this one in the middle, just confusing. This is courgette. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 have germinated out of 15. I mean, this one is barely doing anything yet. The ones where you can see they've got 1 or 2 leaves, they've been up a couple of weeks. They're just not moving. Fingers crossed. That's 15 butternut squash. And so far, 6 have germinated. Again, not doing anything. This is a tray of mixed squash. They're all winter squash again, but they're mixed. There's 2 Musquet de Provence here. This is butternut. Oh, what's that one? There's a Long Island in there. You know, there's a right royal mixture, but what, 1, 2, 3, 4 cells, nothing. And where they have come up, everything is just so stunted. My goodness. On the end there, that is beetroot. Yeah, I've lost a few. They're not... Look, these were all sown about I'm just looking at the back of the label. 9th of May they were sown. Where are we? 3rd of June. So it's about 4 weeks ago. Patience, Vivi, patience. Then, opla. This tray is a tray of cucumbers. This is my seed, saved seed. In the past, they all germinate and romp away. But at the moment, it looks like there's 4 which want to do something and 3 which can't be bothered. Oh my goodness. This is a tray of beetroot. These are actually looking much better than the module sown ones. So yeah, I will have some beetroot to go out. This tray is a bit sparse in places because from this corner and from that I had to dig out fox poo. So fox poo, and then I backfilled it with a bit more compost. So not as many beetroot as I was hoping for, but at least I've got some. And also I've direct seeded now, so hopefully some of the directly seeded ones will do something. Let's just come around the back side. Oh, look at the Nicotiana. It's not Nicotiana, Vivi, it's Nigella. Oh, bit of grass to put out there. These lovely Nigella, Love in a Mist. Oh, so pretty. So pretty. Lovely. I sowed these in memory of... Oh, hang on, let's just have grass out. Yeah, I sowed these in memory of one of my patients who died, and she was such a little star, a little star burst, loved Disney, and this sort of made me think of, you know, the Disney fireworks at the end of the films, going choo choo. So it absolutely perfectly suits her. Bless. Oh, I'm a bit tired. Yeah, I need to get in here, and I'm not just going to pull it. The thing is, there's no point, like I've just done there, there's no point if you've got grass growing in your beds like that, just pulling it, because all you do is you pull off the green tops, but you've left the root in, it'll just grow back. So I'd rather leave the stalks on, because then it shows me where it is to go down, to dig down and get them out. Under here is the Agatha's pants on, the Agapanthus division from my neighbour. Now, it's not doing much, but it's alive. Agapanthus can be a little bit, tender to frost, and I know that there are a couple, including one of the other divisions, a sort of sister division, that died this winter because we had that 10 days where we didn't get above freezing during the daytime. So, you know what, I'm glad it survived. That's the main thing. It's not going to do anything for quite some time yet, but hopefully for the new person who takes on my plot, they will get to enjoy it. So, into the cold frame where you can see I have been bringing down tomatoes. So there's 5 up there, another 5 here. There's some in the herb bed. They're just starting to harden off a bit now. They're going to have to harden quickly. I can't believe how chilly it is. Otherwise, the seeds that were started, I think these were all started on the 9th of May. So the little fennel, you see, they're all coming. Such a pretty little thing, isn't it? A lot of those are coming along. Oh, hang on a second. So, remember I was saying, this is the only bed in number 4 bed that hasn't been touched at all. That's where I want the fennel to go. So I need to do some prep on that bed before the fennel go out. But I'm so scared of putting them out and then just losing the lot to slugs in one fell swoop. And then, maybe if I'm going to come up and under. Hang on a sec. There we go. Then that is... gorgeous chard. I love it. I love how you can already see their colours, yellow, red, pink. That's all looking really well. So that will all be put into that bed I just showed you, and we'll fill it up pretty much. Lettuce has been a little bit disappointing. There's 2 rows here that are supposed to be Reuben's red. I've got 1, 2 if I'm lucky. A couple there, a few more here. What's this one? I think this is a mixture called Salad Bowl. So they can be planted out soon. And then in the end here, where you can see the 2 rows of modules, sorry, my voice has gone funny because I'm bent double. This is spinach. This is butterfly spinach. It's lovely spinach. But that whole left-hand side doesn't want to do much. This row is done better. Anyway, there's a little bit to plant out. I think this is going to be the year of being grateful for anything, literally anything. The herb bed. The herb bed is always a delight. From this time of year, it's just lovely. I mean, look at this. The Love in a Mist, the blue of the Love in a Mist, and the lilac-y purple of the chives. Isn't that gorgeous? This year's verbena is shooting away, and it's just starting to form flower heads. There's a load more love and a mist to come. The lovage has shot up. Oh, I forgot to mention at the top end, the tree lilies doing grand. Oh my goodness, this one is in bud already. Oh, look at all those buds. Oh, love it, love it, love it. Talking of love it, lovage shot up, and that's about to flower. Gorgeous. It's lovely to have all this variation in height in the garden, isn't it? Yeah, more tomatoes. That's the sedum that Paul gave me. And that's the marjoram that I always used to have. I'm coming crab-wise. This is the marjoram that I always had in the pot. And I thought, you know what? I'm not going to take it with me. So let's get it planted and let it spread in this area. And it looks, perfectly happy. Where did we get to? Oh, yeah. Oh, just to say, talking of tomatoes, I'm so glad I sowed these at home. So glad. I'm kind of kicking myself now that I didn't start my squash and all that at home too. Never mind, can't go back in time. But I'm so glad I did the tomatoes, because the ones I sowed here in the cold frame didn't germinate. Not a dicky. And it's exactly the same seed. It's my own saved seed. I use my own tomato seeds always. Never have an issue. But yeah. So that's a phew moment. Oh, look at this monster rhubarb. It's very happy. I've done, I think, about 4 really quite big picks from it already. I need to do a bit of picking here because finally, oh my goodness, those, I don't know if you make them out. I got a couple of crocosmia from my friend Catherine across the way, and they're finally growing. They're not going to flower this year, but yeah, they're getting away. And then there's wonderful tumbly mishmash. There's verbena coming up through. This is the grapevine that still doesn't want to do much, but it doesn't want to give up either. Obviously that's the honeysuckle under there, and this gorgeous rose from Richard and Paul, which Sheila, she used some kind of magic gadgetry wizardry Google identify or something, and it looks like it's a damask rose called Ispahan. So pretty, which I think means it's only going to flower for a short period now, but from what I've subsequently read about them is, yes, deadhead them, keep deadheading to encourage more blooms. But I love it, it's beautiful. And a couple of folk did ask, oh, are you going to take cuttings? But as mentioned in that video, I have these 2 cuttings already ready to go. Look, teeny tiny little bud, so sweet, so pretty. The blueberry there, that one hasn't got as much fruit as the one I'm going to show you now. The verbena is happy here. This blueberry, I don't know how much you're going to be able to pick up on camera at this stage when they're all green, but it is dripping with fruit. I mean, it's just every little bit of branch is laden, dripping with it. Woohoo! Like right down here, right down to the bottom. Oh my goodness, I'm going to have a great year on this one. Weirdly though, I'm just stepping back. This, look how perfect are they? Oh my goodness. So this bush has got tons of fruit on it, tons. That bush, a bit less so. They're exactly the same plant. It's a blueberry called Duke. They're the same age, planted at the same time, in exactly the same conditions. Well, who can fathom it? Anyway, I'm not complaining. I'm going to have a ton of fruit on that. So, my lovelies, standing here, compared with 4 weeks ago, I hope you can sort of see and appreciate the difference. I mean, I am chuffed. I'm chuffed with what I've been able to do. You know, I mean, it was kind of crazy in a way to think, oh, yeah, I can do the whole garden in 1 month. I wasn't really thinking I'll do the whole garden in 1 month, but that's kind of what it boiled down to this year because of other stuff in life that's going on. And yeah, I'm really, really pleased. I think I'm going to sit down. See, that's why you have your garden seat to hand all the time. Going down, ooh, blah, and then, oh, my deck wants to break. You can see my view that I have when I'm just sitting here. Yeah, I think for a sort of pared down garden, you know, the main thing is, what is the main thing from this? What is it, Vivi? The main thing is I am going to hopefully get a bit of food. I am definitely getting a lot of enjoyment. I'm getting storage, and that's what it's all about, storing my stuff until I move. But yeah, it feeds my soul. And you know what, if I, like, say these 3 squash beds, say I don't end up planting them because the squash just will not grow, say I don't have any squash, you know what, it doesn't matter, because what I do have here is I have companionship, and I feel like I've been needing that a lot recently. I have somewhere to come to take my mind off other stuff. Yeah, I have I have cats to cuddle and play with. That's supposed to be for the bees, Rosie. Bees and foxes. Oh, a big jellycopter overhead. Yeah, so it's about so much more than just a bit of food, isn't it? And I get that, and that's, yeah, wonderful for me. All right, lovelies, I'm going to start just blubbering on now. No one needs that, so I'm going to say cheerio, and it'll be cheerio for a little while now. So please, in the meantime, stay well, take care, be gentle to the people that you come across in life. That's the message for today. Let us all be gentle to one another. So I'll see you all in a couple of weeks or so, and hopefully the garden will have grown a bit by the time I come back. Until then, lots of love. Cheerio.